Okay. Yes, you may want to, if you want to listen. Okay. All right. So this, my name is BB, and so this is a class presented to you by BB Life Consulting. It's called Take Back Control of Your Life, Create Positive Change Using the I.C.E method. So today is Wednesday, November the 16th, and this is our Zoom meeting. I did want to let you know that you can go to this will be recorded and it's going to be posted on my YouTube at BB Life Consulting. And I am going to post that link to my YouTube in the comments so you can see that. Just a moment. Let me refresh this. Well, for the people that are in this room today, I'm going to actually go ahead and just make sure that you have access to the link. All right, so also make sure that you stay tuned to the end of this to hear about the Black Friday special. Okay, because it's getting close. So next week is going to be Thanksgiving. And so that's the time where everybody's interested in buying things for the people that they love. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is introduce myself. So who is BB? So I'm BB. I'm the founder and managing member of BB Life Consulting, which is a life consultation agency, or you could say a school designed to teach the laws of the universe and to help individuals in what their possible transformation can be. So some of the philosophy that I study comes from people as Gurdjieff, Bennett, and many others. So I call myself a human evolutionist. Basically, what that means to me is that I help people change the way that they think so that they can create a different reality. Because a lot of times people don't realize is that the reason that they are in their current reality is directly associated to the way that they think. Change what you think, change your reality. All right. So I'm also what people call a life coach, but I also call myself a life consultant because I don't necessarily coach people to get per se to where they want to be. I kind of consult where they currently are, and they can determine their future based on that. I do have a certification as a Noble Design Coach and also an Enneagram Coach certification. As far as just academically, I did receive my bachelor's in marketing management and my master's in management and leadership. And most important, I am a mother and I am a wife. All right, let's move on here. So before we get into what the I.C.E method is, I think it's important to talk about the current state of most individuals, which is people are in survival mode. So people are in what I like to call their animal nature. So everybody knows as being a human being, we are the most evolved creature on Earth. So we shouldn't just be living like an animal, worrying about we don't need to just worry about staying warm. We don't need to just worry about what we're going to eat today. We don't need to just worry about protecting ourselves because that's survival mode. We're here because we have a purpose. We have to think about what is it going to take to awaken our essence, our soul, and live our life on purpose. So that's a lot of times why people find themselves in situations where they're unhappy, they're in, they're not in good relationships, they're in dead-end jobs because they don't have a purpose in their life and they're constantly just worrying about how to survive, how to get from one day to the next. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to be talking about the I.C.E method. So what is the I.C.E method? The way that I came up with this is I was just like, sometimes things just get hot. It's like we on fire and we don't really know, what to do. So sometimes we just need some ice. We need to cool it off. So how do we begin to do that? So the I denotes identify. And we're going to get more into each one on the following slides. So the I's is identify, the I's identify, the C is create, and the E is going to be for execution or execute. So let's go ahead and get into the I. So the first thing is you want to identify. So based on the Enneagram of the chief feature, your attention tends to fixate instead of continuously flow. So there's 9 different places that your energy can go. But when you focus on one energy, you tend to experience the imbalance. So these 9 different energies are perfectionism, being helpful to others or advising others, appearing successful, trying to be different or unique, being an intellect, being loyal, planning, protecting yourself and others, and maintaining peace. Now you may think, okay, well, aren't those things that I'm supposed to do? Maybe you feel like, well, maybe I don't have to do all those things. Maybe I mean, there's no such thing as perfection. I can't be perfect. Or you may think, what do you mean appear some type of way? Well, if you're 100% honest with yourself, you will begin to realize that all of these things make up who you are. And you need all these things to have purpose. But the problem comes in is when you spend too much time focusing on one thing. So that's why I said the first thing that you need to do to take back control of your life is you need to identify where is your attention going. It's like, where is the hole in the boat? Why can I stay afloat? Because it's a hole in the boat somewhere and water keeps on getting in and now I'm drowning. So you got to figure out, okay, well, let me figure out where this hole is so I can plug you. So this is the same thing in your life. What hole do I need to give attention to? So you need to figure out where do you go? How do you even go about finding this? So the first step is observation. You have to learn how to observe yourself. You have to understand that psychology is simply just the study of yourself. Like, you have to know the tools to be able to do that. And so that's where, an Enneagram coach or a life coach or a counselor can sometimes help you with, because sometimes it's very incredibly difficult to see where you're missing the mark at yourself. But you have to be open to this process, because you have to understand that usually it's a very painful thing. And sometimes when someone you don't trust tells you that, you can't get anywhere because you don't want to believe them. So that's why I say the first thing that you want to do is find out where your attention is flowing to. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing, which is create. Now, I do want to tell y'all this because I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but if anybody has a question or a comment or anything, you can feel free to chime in, or you can also message in the chat. If you have a question, you can message to everyone, or you can message directly to me. But I wanted to let you know that you could do that. And it's not gonna be a very long meeting. I'm just gonna kind of get to the point here. But like I said, so the next slide is create. So how do you create? What is this whole create? Because we talk about create, emotions, where does it go, and all of this. So once you begin to see where your energy is being fixated, you can remember now to let yourself flow. So once you reach flow, you can begin to create. So the way you begin to create is by intentionally using your emotions. And we're going to talk about that here in a second, but I'm going to say this. But what tends to happen is we use emotions in the wrong way. We tend to be negative when it comes to emotions, in which that negative emotionality, it drains our energy, leaving us dried up. So every time you allow yourself to embrace a negative emotion, you use energy that you actually need to use to create the life that you love. So we'll talk about negative energy. So, we talked about, you know what negative energy is. That's kind of what we talked about briefly before, when we fixate and that energy becomes unbalanced. But we're going to talk about how to use your emotions rightly. And so that's why I have an example on the slide that says, the 9 fruits of the spirit. So the 9 fruits of the spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now, this is something that you can just kind of simply look up online and find out what they are. But that's how you rightly use your emotions. But what tends to happen, we judge others. We are prideful. We're deceptive. You think you're better than others, or you don't think you're better than others. You think you know everything. You're anxious all the time or suspicious. You're neglecting your true self. You feel like you're going to be betrayed, and you're trying to focus on preventing conflict and so many other things. So what you have to learn how to do is take things such as the 9 fruits of the spirits or the laws of Dharma, or find something that's going to help start changing those negative emotions out with more positive ones, because you need a surplus of energy. Because what tends to happen is you wake up, for example, you'll wake up with a bar. Let's just say you wake up with a bar. Think about an energy bar, and it may have 10 slots on it. If you wake up feeling like you're better than somebody, feeling self-righteous, trying to figure out what you need to do to make other people happy, you're literally, every time you're spending your thoughts there, your energy there, you're taking away from the notches of energy that are needed for you to create the life that you love, to have the business that you want, to have a career, to have a loving relationship, to accomplish the things that will make your life purposeful and fulfilled. You're taking that energy and just basically, you might as well say, throwing it away. Anytime you're sitting around being anxious, suspicious, neglecting your true self for other people, afraid that somebody's going to get over you, afraid that you're going to be betrayed, you're literally throwing away your future every time you do that. So you have to find something to help you use those fruits rightly so you can create. But that's all I'm gonna spend. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time there. But hopefully you guys understand that the main thing is, if you're in a negative emotionality, doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. You gotta know that. You gotta have that program. You gotta know that the blood that's going through your arm right now is not anything you're controlling. It's divine. It's divine. It's doing it by itself. You gotta trust that negative emotionality intertwines with the pressure of your blood. So it's no need for it. It doesn't do anything but take away. So in order to create, when you talk about how to create, stop taking away the energy that you need to do it. That's the first thing. And a lot of times it goes right back to identifying to where your attention is going. They're connected. It's all connected. Remember that it's all connected. All right. So, and lastly, we'll talk about execution. So how do you execute? So you can identify, create, but if you do not actually spring into action, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But you have to understand that things work in a process. So this is why I love the Enneagram so much. And most people, they talk about the Enneagram, they talk about personality and this and that, and that's great and it's useful for what it is. But I love it because it tells you how things work. So this is how it works. First of all, you have to acknowledge it's a process. Number one, start to finish. You got to start somewhere and you're going to finish somewhere. But you got to understand too, like, don't get caught up with this is happening, this happening. It's a lot of processes. It's like it's processes within processes. But it doesn't take away the fact that it is all process. It all works the same way. So the reason, why do we even have a reason to start or finish? The reason why you want to start or finish something is because you want something. That's your satisfaction point. But what tends to happen is people get so caught up in what they want, they don't understand that they have to prepare to get what they want. And in order to get what you want, you got to obtain the tools and the resources from somebody. Because if you already had the tools and the resources, you would be doing it. You wouldn't need to get the tools and resources. So in order to obtain them, you got to go to somebody that already has them. And I'm telling you, if somebody already has the tools and the resources, 9 times out of 10, they know how to use them. So then you have to humble yourself. You have to humble yourself and you have to say, hey, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. Help. You got to ask for help. Help can come in several ways. You can go to a guru. You can go to a master. You can purchase a mastermind class. You can purchase a mastermind class. Let's see, just a second. You could purchase a mastermind class that may cost you some money. You can ask a friend that's been down the road before. You can ask a parent, whatever you need to do. You got to understand that it's the start and the finish. It's something, the reason why you have a start and a finish is because it's something that you want. You have to obtain the tools and resources. And I'm not trying to harp on this one, but this is hard because a lot of people deal with pride. And being humble is paramount to finishing any process. Okay. You have to commit. This is almost like a crossroads, because if you don't commit to the process, you're not going to finish it. So you can start, you can have something you want, you can prepare, you can obtain tools and resources, but if you don't if you don't commit, you won't have anything. It's at that point, because the commitment comes from a whole nother process. This basically is something that comes outside of the process. And then once you do that, you got to begin to organize. So commitment gives you the ability to begin. So commitment is an energy. So commitment is one of those things where I guess you'll say, I don't know if it goes back to the 9 gifts of the spirit, like the long suffering, the perseverance kind of whole ordeal. You persevere through it. You didn't let the negative emotions prevent you from committing to the process. So then you got enough energy to actually begin to organize and to do the detailed work that needs to happen for you to actually do the work. Now, this is a hard one right here, because once you actually do it, because you ain't did nothing yet besides prepare, obtain tools and resources, you committed, which is great, but you got to really commit. You organize. But if you really think about it, you ain't did nothing yet. You still have not done anything until you actually do the work. So once you do the work, this is what we call the dark night of the soul. This is where the rubber really meets the road. This is where you sweat. This is the blood, sweat, and tears that has to happen. This is what we call the dark night of the soul. Because once you do that, you can't go back. Once you do that, even though you may not have completed the process at this point, you can't go back, because you have at this point put something together. So this is paramount. This is paramount. You got to know that it's going to come a time where you actually have to work at this. Then after you do the work, if you really did it, now if you ain't did no work, then you might have problems with this second place. I guess it's what you call faith. You'll call it faith. You got to trust it. You got to trust the process. That may seem like it's not a part of the process, but it very much is. Because a lot of times people done did all this work, but they don't allow themselves to trust that it actually happened. They don't think that their work really came, the results of their work really came from everything that they have done so far. So you have to trust it. Because if you don't, you will not reach true satisfaction. You'll feel like you're not good enough. You'll feel like that you don't deserve what's happening because you didn't trust. It's like it's a faith component, which is the last energy you need. You need this energy to actually be satisfied. So it's almost just like, well, it's almost like I went to work and I worked and I got paid, but you don't feel fulfilled in your job because you know you went and played all day. You ain't do what you was supposed to do. You know you getting paid, and you may even joke around with your co-workers and friends. Man, I just sat around all day, this and that. But on the inside, you ain't satisfied because you didn't really do the work. But if you went and you really did the work and you seen the result of it and you got paid and you know you got paid, I'm telling you, it hit different. You like, I work hard for my money today. You know you deserve that money. It's different. And you can't even get to this point if you didn't really do the work. You can't become a master. How can you become a master at something and you never did the work? How can you teach somebody else how to do something and you haven't done the work? It's almost like, I know y'all have heard the saying before, you know you really learn something when you can teach it to somebody else. So after you done did all of that, now you are finished. And that's how the process works. So we'll just go over real quickly. Number one, you got to identify where your boat is getting filled up at. You got to identify where your attention is flowing. You got to know, in order to create, you got to have energy to create. You're going to be wasting a whole lot of energy in negative emotionality. It can't exist. Now, let's be real. We human. We get mad. We got emotions, right? We taught that that's okay. But I'm going to tell y'all right here and now, it's not ever okay. It's never okay. Does it happen? I guess. But is it okay? No, reprogram your mind to know it's never okay to feel any low vibrational way of being. Does it exist in this matrix? Yes. Is it okay? No. Okay. All right. So here's the next thing. So now I understand, okay, it's one thing to give out tools, but implementation, it can be challenging. It could be challenging. So although a lot of people go to therapy and they talk about past traumas, take prescribed medicines, life coaches, they help you with the present. They help you obtain your future goals. So I'm just gonna say this. If you're interested, like I said earlier on in the presentation, I'm a life coach. So if you're interested in booking with me, my services are $125 an hour, which is very reasonable. Because for me personally, I want to choose people that look like me, that come from the places that I've come from, and I want to be affordable. So if you are interested, my website is here. So bblifeconsultant.com. It's easy to book there. You can pay at the time of booking. You can do, I'm available on a national level as well as nationally wide. And if you're close to me, I can do in person for people that are local. So I'm glad everybody stays to the end. So we'll go ahead and I know I talked about the Black Friday special. So next week, like I said, we know it is Thanksgiving. Everybody gets really excited about turkey and ham and chitlins for the ones that like that, and all the good food and cakes and pies and all of this. Okay. So I have something special for Black Friday. So I'm gonna be doing a Black Friday sale. So I know a lot of individuals may feel like they have done the work or already believe in life coaching. Well, I got something for you. I'm offering gift cards. Woohoo! I'm offering gift cards that you can purchase as a gift for the holidays. So instead of paying $125 like you would for a regular coaching session, you're only going to be paying $75 because it's a $40 promo code that you can use for 1 full hour of coaching for a loved one. And so you can go on my site as well. You'll see an option at the top for gift cards. And so when you do it, make sure you use the promo code holiday22 to take care of to make sure you get the special, because otherwise it's $125 because the gift card is only for 1 hour. So an hour of my services is valued at $125. So I was excited to share that with you all. And that is all I got. So feel free to come off of mute if you want to. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments. I know I threw a lot out there, and also you can message in the chat too.
Well, thanks for giving us that look speech you gave us. I appreciate it. I needed that. Thanks so much.
Okay,
I mean,
yes, no problem.
it kind of helped me out a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the things that you be saying, and I'm learning a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I might just need some more coaching and more learning, but I get it.
Okay. Yes, I got you, girl. And we have our own special going on. A lot of people before this, they were already locked in at their own special rate. So that still stands for you moving
Okay.
forward. So yeah, so do this whole what I'm doing now in the promo code, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Well,
So
thank you.
no problem. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. You know how to reach me. I'll just say this for everybody. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is BB Life Consultant. On Facebook, my Facebook page is just BB. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's High Vibes with BB on there. And like I said, my YouTube is BB Life Consultant as well. So did anybody else have any questions, concerns, or comments before we log out on now? And I'll let you guys go for the rest of the evening.
Good job.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank you so much.
for tuning in. You guys know where to find me. Did you have something? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording. Let's see.